So good morning and welcome to this class. Welcome to those joining us live today and those that might be using this recording. This will be a yin practice, about an hour long for springtime. So we'll focus on rotations today and on the hips. For this practice, it's great to have a folded blanket in a rectangle for some of the postures, and lots of pillows of any sort, whatever you've got handy would be great. And then also, not required, again, none of these things are required, but it is nice to have a strap or a scarf, something for our hamstring stretch, so that you can place the upper arms on the earth and create a little more ease. It's a little bit of work in the arms here, but not too much. So have those things handy, and we'll begin on our spines. If you want that little prop underneath your pelvis or your tailbone, you might place it there now. Knees could be bent or legs could be long here as we ground. Take a few breaths. Inhale and exhale. Inhale wide into the sides of the ribs. And exhale even longer than the inhale for just a few rounds. Perhaps you hear your own breath. Let it focus your attention. And from here, if you haven't already done so, plant the feet. And begin just a small sway of the knees side to side. So the hips will sway, the knees really follow. This can massage the sacrum. If this isn't good for you, you could hug the knees in instead. Or grow this movement. The arms might even extend from the shoulders and grow this movement so that the legs sway one way and the other, and start to increase the rotation in the body. The head might loll the opposite direction to the legs, just warming up here for our first yin posture, which will be supine rotation. And the next time you land on the left with the legs, stay there. You might remain just as you are, or you might, there's different variations here, lengthen out the bottom leg and take the top bent leg, like so, onto a bolster. So a bolster could go underneath the inner thigh here to create a little less stretch. You may find your legs stay stacked and just naturally go to the floor, but this is a little gentler option. Really reach those arms out from their sockets. And some of you may feel a stretch along the chest as well. This rotation creates, pardon me, creates compression on that right-hand side for many of us. Some people feel it on the bottom side also. But this top right side is the liver side. So sense the compression through your center. Really breathe into it. It's the expansion of the inhale and the contraction of the exhale. And perhaps change your focus to the outside top hip. The glute, and down the outside of the leg is where a lot of people feel this posture. Stretching out through the IT band, runs all the way into the side of the foot. Even if it's subtle, can you sense sensation down that leg? Continue to sense that leg. And slowly glide your attention further up. So from the glute into the waist, side of the waist. Back into those ribs, the top side. Into the armpit, right armpit. And down the right arm. Can you trail your awareness back up that right arm to the shoulder and the right collarbones into the neck? And notice if the right side of the face feels different than the left side. Broaden your awareness to the entire right side of the body. And then see if you can sense that grounded left side. Return to that right top side. And take a few breaths. One more inhale. And exhale, in your own time. Come onto your back. That might mean you assist that right thigh with the hands to return to your spine. Might pause here. Extend the legs if it feels comfortable. Feet could also be planted. And again, if your awareness isn't already there, sense that right side of the body. Left side. Right side. Left. Right. Left. And both halves together. From here, if using a bolster or pillows, you might choose to place them on the right side in advance. Rebend the knees. Start to rock the pelvis. And as you do so, the knees will begin to sway side to side, if this feels comfortable. And when you're ready, land on that right side. You could lengthen that right leg and land the inside of the left thigh on the bolster, or both knees could remain bent and stacked, and adjust so you feel comfortable and can sense the rotation through your center body. On the left side. Notice any compression, stomach and spleen. And let the breath massage the organs. Help them function optimally. The lymphatic system doesn't have its own pump, so these rotations can support lymphatic flow. Now trace your awareness to that top hip and glute. Sense any shifts or sensations available there. Allow your awareness to trace down that left outer leg, down the IT band. all the way into the side of the foot, side of the ankle. Return your focal point to the glute on the top side in your own time. And then shift your awareness to the left waist. Up back into the ribs. Breathe there for a few rounds. And sense the left armpit, the shoulder. Let everything heavy toward the earth. And slide your awareness down the arm, upper arm, elbow, forearm, to wrist and hand. And trace your awareness up and down that arm. And then sweep your awareness to that left collarbone, to the neck, and left side of the face compared to the right side of the face. And sense that left side of the body. And the grounded right side, just for a moment. And return to that left upper side, lifted side. Inhale. Exhale, perhaps through the mouth. As you find your way onto your back, again, support yourself as you need. Use the hands. Turn to the spine. Maybe feet are planted, maybe legs are long. And the left side might already call to you. Sense it. Then the right side, the left side, right, left, right, left, both together. And from here, we'll take, if you have one and want to use it, that scarf, if choosing to do this on your back. I'll show another variation in a moment. So here you could take the strap, whatever you've got, scarf, to the forefoot of that right leg. and allow the hands to slide down your scarf and allow the upper arms to land on the earth. And you can draw toes toward nose as much or as little as you wish. And just like before, we can move in and out for a moment just to explore the hip, explore mobility, and then come into stillness. There's an option. Or you could have the right leg extended, left sole of foot to the inseam of the thigh, the long leg, and fold forward either onto bolsters or just folding. Can also have a long spine as well if you prefer to keep the work or stretch rather in the leg and out of the back. So here, here, or on your spines. And this one will be a little shorter. It's not our focus meridian line today. This one is for bladder. So choose your variation. Even on your spine, the other foot could be grounded as well for the low back. Despite using the arms, if you're on your back, see if you can release the shoulders, wiggle the jaw. Just a few more breaths. One more inhale and exhale. If you're seated, you'll be able to just take your legs wide and seated to get a stretch through the inseams of the legs. It's like this, except on your bottom. Or if you have the strap here, you can take it in your right hand and bring the leg out to the side to any degree. That other foot could be planted or leg long. Ground the right forearm. We won't be here very long either. It's kind of in between some of our longer poses. If you're on your sits bones, you can lean forward as much as you wish. You probably already figured that out to increase sensation. One more inhale here. And exhale to return that foot toward the sky. And we'll take the strap or scarf in the left hand and allow that right leg to come over across midline. However, keep the hips grounded this time. So we're not going all the way over. You could, that's just a different stretch. It'll come more turn more into a rotation. So that's available to you as well. But here we're focusing just on IT band. If you are seated, could continue to stay in dragonfly, unless you'd like to join us and bring the leg across. One more inhale. And exhale to return that leg to center if you're on your spine. We're going to meet in seated, so if you're seated, you could stay there. Remove the strap, maybe hug that knee in. If you're in seated, you could do a double knee hug on your bottom. Oh yes, the other side. I almost forgot the other side. So if you're seated, you'll stretch out the left leg this time, and the right foot will come to the inseam of the long leg for caterpillar on the other side. Or take the strap around the left foot and lift it up toward the sky. And find the hamstring lengthener here. Just a few breaths, about 5 to 10, depending on your pace. Wiggle that jaw or move that tongue around the mouth if there's tension in the face, neck area. More inhale here. Exhale. And now you could take both legs wide if you're on your seat, or strap in left hand and bring leg out to that same side to any degree. Plant other foot as needed. Hip stays grounded, opposite hip. You can even place your hand on that right hip. Just trying to hit up the other meridian lines that won't be our focus today, to feel a well-rounded practice. This is kidney meridian line. The pairing to bladder. 2 more breaths. When you're ready, return that leg to the sky or stay in the dragonfly. That's both legs wide. Or take strap or scarf in right hand. Bring long leg slightly over, hips grounded, unless you want to focus more on rotation. You'll still get the IT band stretch with the leg long in the rotated version. This is just more isolated and kind of true to the IT band. So we add the rotation, we can't really see how far we can actually go when we're focused on IT band stretch. And this is an area that's meant to be tight, right? It's your fascia. It needs to be somewhat tight, but we do want to lengthen it out just to get some new hydration into the tissues. One more inhale. And exhale, that leg will return to sky if you're on your back. Hug the knee in, or if you're seated, hug both knees in. And from here, we'll all meet in seated. And plant the feet Again, hands behind the body, fingertips toward you for most shoulders. Sometimes they're up to the sides as well. And allow the legs to windshield washer side to side. And then from here, we'll cross the right leg in front of the left one. And I'm mirroring here. And this is where some people find they like that blanket underneath their seat. So blanket folded, place it on the mat, and just sit on the edge of it. Could also be on something a little higher, but I prefer lower for what we're about to do. And that creates some ease in the low back as we find our tall spine. And some people even stay here and lean forward and they feel the stretch in their right glute. Or prepare that right leg. Maybe move it around if it's stiff at all. And then with the foot flexed, cross that right shin over the bottom one. This is a seated variation of shoelace, and this may or may not work for your body. So if there's any pain in the knee, you could come back to the crossing and lean forward. Just as one option. If you feel nothing there, but this doesn't feel right, you could try the tight shoelace variation where the knees are stacked and see if that serves your body a little bit better. And lean forward. Ooh, I like this one. So find your variation. I'm still fiddling here. Over time, that knee, if in the stacked variation, might lower a bit toward the earth. And explore the lean. And this is where you might have pillows on your lap to fold onto, to even hold the head up. If the head feels heavy when it's rounded, and the neck is rounded. And we'll stay here for quite some time. If any time it becomes too much, you could return to your spine and take rest. This is the liver meridian line, usually a focus of spring practice in Chinese medicine. You might feel this all the way down the leg. That is also natural. A lot of focus on that liver today and outer leg. If there's tension, you might swirl the tongue around the top teeth, fronts and backs. Also a great way to support digestion. Perhaps reverse the circles of the tongue, if doing so. Switch to the bottom teeth and swirl. Reverse the tongue. You might notice an effect on the breath. Does it shift your experience to move the tongue? Release the tongue, maybe inhale through the nose and exhale, stick the tongue out. And from here, if you're angled forward, you might come up a little, actually all the way. We'll stay here a little longer, but we'll add side bends if it feels right to you. You could always go back to what we just did or stay more in stillness or side bend over one way and just explore side bend the other way while hips stay grounded. And then come to one side and just stay there. If you'd like support for the head, take that opposite arm that's reaching, take the hand to the other ear. And breathe into the top rib. Gallbladder line runs along this area. And lungs, open the lungs. And switch sides. Notice the difference between sides. And come up tall. Reach those arms out to the side. Palms can face me. Feel the reach from fingertip to fingertip across lung and heart meridian lines. And then cross your arms to give yourself a little hug and maybe even curl in on yourself. You can leave out all these arm options as well. You may have found you needed the fingertips on the earth this entire time. That's okay too. But if you are crossed, breathe into the back of the heart here as you're rounded. You could be rounded with fingertips on the earth as well. And then release. And we'll support, if needed, that top leg to come off. And you can pause anywhere along the way. You might find it nice to stay in stillness or lengthen the legs. Maybe hands are behind you. Perhaps you sway the feet side to side. It's natural to feel achy sometimes. You can massage the legs. Before we take the opposite side. So for you, it's your left leg. So you can prepare it, perhaps. Cradle it in your arms, rock it side to side. And see, put shoelace on this side. So here's stacked. And again, shins don't have to be perfectly stacked, but that's what we're going for, is a stacking of the shins. Maybe instead that leg is in front. Maybe you can find some sensation through the glute here. I can on this side. Or perhaps the tight version of shoelace. So play around for the first minute or so you can find what works for you. This is quite challenging for many of us. And lean forward as desired to shift sensation or onto those pillows. What arises in the silence. Notice. If you need a focal point, maybe again swirl the tongue. This time start with the bottom teeth. Again, just an option. This is your practice. Reverse the tongue. Take the tongue around the top teeth. Might be fast or slow as you feel each tooth. In reverse. Let go of the tongue. Sense deeper into the hip, outside of that leg. Continue to sense that leg as you sit up tall, and it'll change the sensation. It might lessen it, but it depends on your body. Or just alter it. And from here, those side bends, side bend one way, if desired, and the opposite way. Just a few times. And when you feel ready, reach over to one side. Or stay center, exploring and shifting the body in a way that feels good. Maybe you breathe into that top lung. And reach the top end a little higher to the sky. As you ground that same hip. One more reach. And shift up over to the opposite side. Lengthen and then curve to any degree. And you reach top arm a little longer and ground the hip as available to you. Top lung expands. And then we return to center, or extend both arms again. If you're able to lift the hands off the floor, cross the arms the opposite way that feels comfortable to you. And perhaps round. Notice the compression in the front line and the openness in the back line. Breathe into it. More inhale and exhale to rise. Reach those arms out to the side. You can even just bring them back behind you a bit, or even take the hands and interlace fingers or interlock them to open up across the heart. And then we'll assist that leg. I almost forgot about the leg because it felt so good. Lengthen both legs again if it calls to you, or just stay wherever you are. Maybe you fold a little, maybe you massage the legs. And folded, sense the compression on the belly. And then roll up. And one more short posture. We'll come into Sphinx. And you could, if the blanket is thin, you can have it underneath the pelvis. That can be really nice. Nice little lift here. So we lie on our bellies. And then press yourself up onto your forearms. And this is the posture here, Sphinx. You can widen the elbows. Some people like that to give a little more support to the body, or other people do the opposite and widen the hands just a little. And also, depending what kind of pillows you have available, put some sort of bolster underneath that lower chest or rib area to help support you here. Just open up the front line a little. Just short time in this posture. And I should mention, because I know there's someone who's very flexible in the group today. So if you feel nothing here and you would like more sensation, again, it's okay to stay. But you could come up onto the hands and to seal, as long as the lower back feels good. Really press that pelvis down into the blanket or into the earth, especially the base of the glutes. So you may have to activate them a little bit to protect the low back. So here, seal. Fingertips are turned out a little bit like seal flippers. This puts a little bit of gentle compression on the kidneys. A few more breaths here, long and slow. One more inhale. And exhale, maybe stick the tongue out there as you come down. Again, if there's pillows, you could remove them or keep them there. Mm. And I lied, one more little posture. It's because I've altered the sequence. Bring those hands in toward you and press yourself back into a child's pose. Now, with the child's pose, knees could be wide, feet together, and you could sit back. You have healthy knees, like everybody here today does. Other people that don't have healthy knees can roll into their back and do a knee hug. So this is an option, but also since we're focused on spring practice, you might bring the knees closer together, like hip distance, for example, and sit the hips back. And this will put more compression on the belly area. So there's this option, legs closer together, farther apart, or a knee hug on the back. In between option for knees issues would be the blanket in the crook behind the knee, and to sit back for some people that works, or they need to, shimmy. I find I like it a little further back, not in the crook, but depends on your body. So choose where you'd like to land. Arms could be extended, or as a more restorative variation, they could slide to your sides so that the fingertips reach toward the feet or the back edge of your mat. And breathe into the belly, wherever you are. As we approach the closing of the practice, we become quieter. Observe your inner world. From this grounded position, prepare to move into your variation of Savasana or corpse pose. This could mean that you go on your back, but from where we are, if you like to lie on your belly, you might take a belly Savasana. So outstretch those arms again if they're at your sides. Slide forward onto the belly or roll onto the back. If on the belly, you might turn the head one way. And I'll let you know halfway through when to change. If you're on your back, you could use some of those pillows underneath the backs of the knees so you can stretch out your legs, or feet could be planted. If you are on your belly, breathe into that region. Looking to one side, change the head to the opposite side. Few more breaths here. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, exhale. Breathe in and out. Head returns to center if it was turned to one side. Wherever you are, feel your body heavy on your belly. Maybe you also take your hands under your forehead. Ground. And as you feel ready, you can add micro movements to the body. That might mean that you wiggle your fingers and toes. If you're on your back, you might take a long body stretch. If you're on your belly, you might be ready to slide the hands back to press into the earth into child's pose. If you're on your back, you might turn onto your side and press yourself up with your top hand to seated, or roll up through the spine if in child's pose. To take your seat, could be back on your blanket again or on a pillow. Roll the head side to side. And drop the chin. Reach the arms up as you look up. And bring those hands through to heart center, thumbs to the sternum. Take a breath here. Thank you for practicing with me today. Sat Nam.